Hello, I'm Michael Nagler, and I'm going to introduce you to a technique of meditation that I myself have been practicing for many years. It's called passage meditation. This will be a brief introduction, so what you want to do is look at the website of the Blue Mountain Center of Meditation for more information, and that website is www.easwaran.org, E-A-S as in Sam, W-A-R-A-N.org. That has the whole story. What I'm going to do here is give you about a 10-minute introduction to the way meditation itself works. We'll do another 10 minutes on the use of the mantram, which is a complementary technique, and then I will turn it over to some actual classroom experiences where we taught a course on this kind of meditation at the University of California. So passage meditation gets its name from the fact that what you meditate on is an inspirational passage, and there is a collection of over 200 of them in a book called God Makes the Rivers to Flow that you can order through that website, easwaran.org. The benefit of this technique is that you're doing two things at once. Now, all meditation techniques have but one purpose, and that is to slow down and eventually to stop the thought processes in the mind. There's a classic definition of meditation which says yoga chittavritti nirodha, which simply means meditation is the suppression, the retention of perturbation, thought waves going on in the mind. Now, how you're going to get those thought waves under control differs from one technique to another. And in passage meditation, what you use is an inspirational passage that you've memorized ahead of time. It could be from the Psalms, it could be a prayer that you knew when you were younger, it could be, we like to recommend the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. It starts, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. That's a perfect brief passage for meditation. So you memorize that passage ahead of time, and then you do the meditation early in the morning, as early as you can conveniently make it. Before breakfast, before checking your email, before having any agitating conversations with anybody in your household. And getting that calm and stability into your mind early in the day, first thing, will help you immeasurably throughout the rest of the day. You'll be able to maintain that calm and that focus. We recommend a 30-minute period for passage meditation. Less than that, you probably won't really be getting your teeth into it. More than that, you may feel that you have bitten off more than you can chew. So we recommend a 30-minute period. People who want to add more will do a 30-minute period again in the evening. So you kind of bracket the day that way, and it's very, very helpful. But for starters, we'll just talk about that 30 minutes. You memorize the passage. Now, posture is important. You want to sit with your head and neck and back in a reasonably straight, anatomically straight line. You don't want to be off to one side because then you'll be spraining your muscles. So sit straight up. Remember, your spinal column is like the trunk of a tree, and it can support you for a long time. And close your eyes gently and go through the words of the passage silently in your own mind. It's kind of hard to make a video out of meditation because nothing is happening, right? But you close your eyes, you go, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. And so on, right through the rest of the passage. And what you're trying to do is let each word sink in and register in your mind as deeply as possible. Now, when you start doing this, there are inevitably going to be distractions. The distraction is defined as anything that is not your meditation passage. So whenever there's a distraction, what you want to do is just get your mind back on the passage as quickly as you can, instantly. Just go back to the passage. Don't wrestle with the distraction. Don't beat yourself up for having the distraction. Just go back to the passage. And don't be discouraged. You may have to do this over and over and over again. That's okay. That's the technique. This is how it works. Now, if the distractions have taken over, they've gotten the better of you, you've gone off into some argument with somebody or some fantasy about what you should have said last week or what you're going to have for lunch in a couple of hours, in that case, if you've really dropped the passage for a long time, we recommend going back to the beginning of the passage. That shows your mind that you mean business. And eventually your mind, because it does not like repetition, it doesn't like being bored, the mind is going to want to stay on that passage. And you'll find that two things are going on while you're doing this. First, your mind is getting slower and more focused, which is a tremendous plus in today's world. Second, when your mind is slower and more focused and hence more receptive, you're taking that tremendous opportunity to put positive images into it. And those two things work beautifully together. The positive content of the inspirational passage that you've chosen ahead of time, and the stilling, the slowing down, the one-pointed focus of your mind. So that is essentially the technique. Now, to remind yourself when the 30 minutes are up, at first you can set up some kind of alarm, but we recommend that you learn to time yourself by the passage itself. So you don't have to worry about time, you don't have to be listening for that sound, you don't have to be looking at your watch. Keep your eyes closed, forget about everything but the passage, and you'll find with some practice that you can tell when you've done your 30 minutes. Now, if the passage takes less than 30 minutes to recite, you can just start it over again, or you can memorize more passages. You can memorize long ones. Memorizing passages from a number of different religious traditions is very beneficial. It gives you different viewpoints onto this one supreme reality. So the only other thing I need to tell you about is that you can meditate in a chair. If you do that, it should be a chair with arms. So in case you really get in there deeply and you start falling over, the arms will save you. Or you can meditate on the floor as long as you're going to be comfortable for the 30 minutes.